When I was a little kid, the two things I loved the most in life were Godzilla and NES games. So naturally, when Godzilla Monsters came out, it was like a dream come true. Well, almost. To sum it up, most of the game revolved around getting through very repetitive outer space levels while smashing up tanks and jets, and then fighting against Godzilla's monsters enemies. Overall, it was pretty mediocre. But back then, I didn't care. When I got the game as a present for my 10th birthday, I played it night and day as much as I could. Unfortunately, I had traded the game for Amagon a year later, much to my regret when I found out what the game was like. Recently, I had bought a new NES system, and through a lot of hunting and asking around, my friend Billy managed to find a copy of Godzilla Monsters. I was pumped to play my favorite childhood game. It was never occurred to me to ask where Billy found it. He also gave me some other games like Legend of Zelda, Bomberman, and some stupid thing called Action 52. But Godzilla had to come first. So I started the game, and the nostalgia came flooding back like a tidal wave. Godzilla's 8-bit theme song flooded proudly through the speakers, and I was soon grinning like an idiot. Some people laugh at me for playing such an outdated games, but I never had an enjoyment for any games other than those NES. Those 8-bit games take me back when the things were much simpler, more safe. But after what happened with this game, I don't have those feelings anymore. I had forgotten how quick the fun of smashing things Godzilla wore off in the scrolling levels. The game bombards you with bullets and things crashing into you from every direction, and you're too big to avoid most of them. Although my excitement has worn down some, it wasn't long before I got into my first boss battle. My first opponent was Ghidorah, an obscure squid kaiju has never been in a Godzilla movie. The most annoying thing about fighting Ghidorah is that he always backs you into the corner and starts smacking you with his tentacle, and you're unable to move until he gets off you. This move doesn't do any damage, but it can stall you until the timer runs out and you have to start the fight over, and he regains some health. It's annoying as it sounds, and of course he did it when I fought him. Only for some reason this caused the game to glitch up, because once he started smacking me, he never stopped. The timer is supposed to end in the fight in about 40 seconds, but this lasted for nearly 5 minutes. After a while, the graphics started to mess up, with little red blocks all over the place. Which was weird, but I just took the game out, blew on it, and then started again. I wasn't about to let a little glitch stand in my way, so I started again, and this time defeated Ghidorah and the level's other boss monster, Mongira, without any problems. So, then it was on to the next planet, Mars. I browsed around in the board and found something unexpected. Where Varen's piece should have been, there was instead the piece representing Titanosaurus. There were only 10 kaijus in the game, and Titanosaurus was not one of them. Or so I thought. Perhaps Titanosaurus was originally intended to be in the game, but was swamped out with Varen for some reason? So I began to feel very excited. Not only I was playing my favorite game, but I was playing a prototype of some sort with a new monster. Needless to say, I ran through the levels as fast as I could to see Titanosaurus in action. Fought Ghidorah again and beat him before he could do his tentacle smack, but this time the glitch started to happen again when he died. Ghidorah's sprite didn't sink in the bottom, but instead it seemed to be devoured by the glitch, and his eyes started randomly spawning all over the screen. I know that these glitches with Ghidorah were my first warning sign that something was very wrong with this game, but foolishly I ignored it and proceeded on to the fight with Mongira, who this time had a glitch on his own. Mongira was twice the size he should have been, which startled me. He was also considerably harder to beat than usual, which is to say, not at all, but soon had to defeat him also, and when he died, yet another glitch happened. This happened extremely fast, so I was lucky to get a screen cap of it at all. But what happened was that the giant Mongira sprite started to shatter and melt. Also, if you look at the grabbled text at the right corner of the screen, you'll notice what appeared to be a bird in a cage. I still have no idea what that meant. At this point, I was about to fight Titanosaurus, and I was worried what kind of glitches would have happened this time. But to my surprise, Titanosaurus looked just fine. Although all the game's bipedal monsters were in the same height, Titanosaurus was a bit taller. But since Titanosaurus was actually taller than Godzilla in his film's debut, I thought this was kinda cool. After a very fun fight with a monster that wasn't supposed to be in the game, I took over the enemy's base and proceeded not to Jupiter like normal, but instead to Pathos.